You need to invest in XRP right now. The market's going to shoot up, and we are expecting some significant pumps, especially after the invasion of Russia versus Ukraine. Of course, we're going to be talking about a lot of this and why XRP is really the chosen one in today's episode. Now, of course, make sure you do watch until the end. We're also going to get a bit into Bitcoin and why we believe in Bitcoin as well. So it's going to be a crazy episode, and let's get right into it. Welcome to the Crypto Geek channel, and of course, before we jump right in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you'll like the video so that it can get up on the YouTube algorithm. And of course, not financial or legal advice. Let's get started. XRP is literally on the verge of booming through not only technical analysis and SEC, but we also understand that the SEC's regards with the lawsuit is a complete loss. After a very dark red crypto dump, guess what we see? The light again, the green. And of course, this is something that I've talked about for a long time. I've mentioned it over probably 100 times. And if you were to go back and retrace the videos that I talked about, I was during the entire time telling you, listen, the market's going to crash and then it's going to recover. The market's going to crash. It's going to go dump at this time, at this point, when we start to see, the beginning dip, understand that there's going to be a big one, and then we're going to see the big pump that really pushes everything back. And it's happening. And so if you were following the exact steps that I was telling you guys about, telling you guys that it's going to dip, and then acting upon, the things that I told you, the technical analysis, all of that, you would notice that till now, we've been 100% correct with our technical analysis, and that history has repeated itself, and more specifically, that XRP is really the one that everybody's waiting for. If you guys don't know what XRP is a coin that is originally based from Ripple, the company, and they've kind of managed XRP. And for a very long time, XRP has been the underdog, but they've always jumped those thousands of percentages at the very end when people least expected it. And for the last 4 to 5 years, everybody has been trying to get in on the XRP train, but the market has just constantly frightened them, and specifically with XRP and the lawsuit. So today we're going to go over what is actually going to happen and why this Ukraine versus Russia invasion type thing actually pumped up the price of cryptocurrencies. Of course, as you guys know, the current US inflation rates accelerated over 7.5%, and this was 2 months ago, the highest since 1982. And with this, of course, Russian versus invasion or against Ukraine, we clearly see that inflation is going to rise with all the sanctions that are being put on Russia and Russia's major export of energy, gas, oil, all of that. We're going to see prices rise. And again, all of this is going to contribute to the rising inflation, not only just in Russia. Of course, it is going to take the most impact in Russia, but it is going to be all around the globe. We're going to have less oil that's going to be sent around, less gas. We've seen that in multiple countries, sanctions have been put up on food products related to any Russian food product or drink product exports. And so places like Canada are now, complete banning any Russian products. That's going to cause a rising inflation in food and drinks, of course, increasing that rate. Now, what do you do when you find your money starting to be devalued? And I think it's quite clear by now, and this is what everybody's been doing, and this is putting it into assets. And what are some of the greatest and easiest assets to invest in? XRP. In addition to this, why Ripple is the one I decided to go into, and why Ripple is really the one for a few reasons. Number one, within regards to that, Ukraine-Russia invasion, we've recently been hearing Russia's going to be banned possibly from the SWIFT system. And of course, if you guys don't know what SWIFT is, they're basically a cross-border payment method. Now, who's the best alternative that even outbeats SWIFT and is global? You got it, Ripple. And what does Ripple use? The XRP ledger. So Ripple basically runs off of XRP. If Ripple is integrated into any system, because it is the top currency transferring cross-border payment, then we'll definitely see that market cap of XRP pump. Now, in addition to this, and going back to that Russian-Ukrainian conflict, what's really going to make Russia decide that, listen, we should really switch on to Ripple instead of SWIFT is the pressure and sanctioning that's getting put on it by the US and the European countries. There's a very likely chance that they might take out SWIFT and completely ban it from Russia. And that's going to cause Russia to lose all ability to trade with any other country, because they're not going to have any way to cross-border payments. And this is where Ripple really comes in. And on top of that, Ripple is very neutral. They do not side with one or the other. In addition, they're quite decentralized in comparison to SWIFT. So it's definitely a better option for Russia, in their point of view, that we switch on to the Ripple network. And maybe even after this, even if they don't ban it from the SWIFT network, Russia now knows, and any country that, feels like we don't want to get controlled by the US or by Europe is going to say, US and Europe and the NATO or any country right now has the ability to just ban us off of the SWIFT network. So let's switch to something that they lose that ability to, easily just ban, and now we're screwed. And this is why, even if Russia or any other country decides that, we're not going to get banned, maybe it's better to take our chance now, swipe as much money as we can that we were going to lose, if the US decided to ban us off, and let's just implement the new Ripple system. So now we have it in place and the US can't do much and can't really ban us, because now it's really based off of XRP, the crypto, which once again is decentralized. And so this is why crypto is really a big deal for the entire global world. Crypto is something decentralized that not a single person can actually control, and having that ability is one that everybody is really looking for. Again, this is definitely going to be something that I believe Russia is going to take into account, specifically now where they're really getting sanctioned and they're taking a few big economic hits, and they're going to try and find a way to recover through that. And what better way than to use the Ripple XRP network, which is basically going to solve all their problems in one single spot. And I want to refer back to an article that was posted on February 12th, so about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks. And it says, Russia to regulate digital assets as currency. McDonald's eyes the metaverse. YouTube to adopt NFTs. XRP pumps 30%. Hodlers digest. All right. So really what we're paying attention to is Russia regulates digital assets as a currency. The Russian government and central banks agreed to treat Bitcoin as a currency. And of course, the reason why they really go with Bitcoin is because it's the first one. The idea is that they find their route through implementing, digital assets as currency, and they have to use Bitcoin since it's the one most popular. And then once they get that into, their economy and people start to understand what currencies are and what cryptocurrencies are, then they can say, okay, you know what, we're implementing the XRP ledger. You guys don't know much, but now you understand how cryptocurrency works. The only thing that's going to change is the name or the way we implement it. It's not going to impact you since you guys have been using Bitcoin for some time. So again, it's the idea of getting people used to it, so then when they switch to something that most people are going to be really confused about, because again, Bitcoin is quite known, unlike XRP, which is in terms of social media knowing it, a lot significantly less people know XRP than Bitcoin. So they kind of get the word out that, look, we approve of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, and we're going to be using Bitcoin as a currency. And then as people start to understand how cryptocurrencies work and what cryptocurrencies are, then they'll go in through and say, you know what, you guys have been using it for the past so-and-so years or so-and-so months. So the only thing that's going to change for you is, this or that. But now that you understand, it shouldn't really impact. And it's a big deal because there are more than 600,000 rubles, which is $8,000 will have to be declared. Otherwise, it will be considered a criminal act. So they're even taxing it. They're saying if you make more than, or you do transactions worth more than $8,000, you have to declare it. And once again, this goes back to the idea that, this was 2 weeks ago. So at that point, we were already hearing Russians plan to invade the Ukraine. And the fact is, I believe Russia probably knew what sanctions and what actions, the U.S. was going to take, and they were preparing for it through that and saying, you know what, who cares? Because cryptocurrencies are always our way out for cross-border payments. We can use Ripple if we want to, make sure our currency doesn't fall and fight against inflation. We're going to have to use assets like cryptocurrencies that basically don't allow for inflation and go up with inflation. And so that's why right away they tried to speed up the process and say, yes, we implement crypto as a currency. And if we look back at this, in January, Russia called for a nationwide crypto ban. But now they're saying we regulate it as a currency. Why is that? Once again, this definitely refers to their understanding that, this conflict between Russia and Ukraine is going to come out with so many sanctions, probably a huge economic blow to the Russian currency. And on top of all of this, they do suspect that not only is inflation going to be a big issue, but that cross-border payments are going to be a big issue, especially if they're taken off of the SWIFT network. And so they need to find a new route, and that is through cryptocurrencies. And we can tell, once again, in January they were opposing it, saying complete nationwide ban. And 2 weeks ago, the complete nationwide acceptance of the currency, cryptocurrency. All right, guys, that's going to be the end of today's video. If you guys do want a technical analysis video, let me know that in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to make one for you. Of course, the charts are quite good. Everything looks amazing, and we are going up. Finally, we're about to hit 40,000 in terms of Bitcoin, and that's also going to lead the altcoins to start their up moving forward trend. Now, of course, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one.